Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello everyone and welcome along to the Precision Automobile Club Esports presented by Eagle Speed Academy here on Apex Racing TV. We are live from the Hockenheim ring located in southwest Germany, fairly close to that French border, and tonight it's going to be fast and furious thanks to this historical circuits layout measuring a shortened 4.9 kilometers or just over 3 miles long. My name is Ashley Demon. Alongside me once again is Dan Field and our production manager behind the scenes, Samuli Kumo. Dan, welcome back. Like the McLarens in Formula One, Mamassi has had his lead cut into due to a disconnect from last time out. With that in mind, what are your thoughts going into this one?
Well, he looked so dominant for the first 3 races of the season, and now all of a sudden he's in a bit of danger from Jens van Tielen in behind, and through no fault of his own. Of course, he was involved in an incident last time out at Road Atlanta, but nevertheless, I mean, it kind of flips everything on its head. It seemed easy, plain sailing for him heading into the last few races of the season, and now we might have a nice little title fight on our hands.
It looks that way. So why don't we have a look at the points in general. Mamassi, he is still top, so don't worry about it all that much, you Mamassi fans out there. His gap has been eaten into somewhat, though. There you can see it on screen. 250 compared to Van Tielen's 197, and Felix Votter not far back either on 167 respectively. Lazarus and Hemming, they're fighting it out for 4th at the moment on 132 and 131. Vince Peters there on 73 with Bernardo Faria right behind him on 53, and then Hugo Allen and Christopher Herbignet 46-43 as well. Michael Van Look then, he's still topping the championship standings there for the Pro-Ams. I believe, though, I might be wrong here. I might need to be corrected that I think these might be last week's standings if I'm looking at it. Never mind. So we're going to have to take this a little bit free-wheeled. But either way, I might be able to quickly find them all for you as we get into this session. Have you got them up there? Go on, take us away, Dan.
So in the, we can talk about the pro category. Hadino Mamassi is still on top, but it is even shorter, the gap that we saw that from before. So it's 290 for Hadino Mamassi. Jens van Tielen is 21 points back from him on 269. Felix Votter is on 243 in third. Corey Lazarus is on 202. Miles Hemming is on 183. Christoph Herbinot is on 84. Vince Peters on 73. Bernardo Faria on 53. And then Hugo Allen on 46. So yeah, they've not been quite updated. I believe in the Pro-Am category, if you've got the standings up now, Ashley, it is actually Luke Andrews on top.
It certainly is. He has managed to take that from Michael Van Look. He's on 148 compared to Van Look's 136. And then Muleman is right there as well. I'm going to be corrected here myself. Apologies. No, I'm not. I am correct. God, I'll get there in the end tonight, Dan. Don't worry. What a good start. So Muleman is on 135, so he's only 1 point off of Van Look there, that top 3. Not much separating, and that championship still very much hangs in the balance. Luke Andrews, of course, missed the first round, so really impressive stuff from him. Then we get to Jeffrey Ross in 4th, 113. Matthew Collin is on 111, and Yannick Denish is on 101. So really, that top 6 is only separated by 50 points from 1st to 6th. Really good stuff there. And Angelo Lewis is 7th. Bas van der Klei is 8th. Then we have Ryan Walker 9th. Daniel Feisker is 10th. Lucas Romano 11th. Gordon Marshall 12th. And Max Enstrom in 13th there. Have you got the amateurs as well there, Dan?
I do have the amateur standing, so it's very, very close at the minute. It's Yellow Stratton still out on top, although he's had his gap cut down. He's on 35 points compared to Navarro de Bova, just 3 points back on 32. That'll be a very exciting fight in the amateur category. Chris Van Gucht, I don't believe, is racing anymore. I think he's been replaced by Smail Labe, if I got that name right. I hope I have. He's in third regardless on 26. Max Devinciani is on 22. Steve Clays is on 18. That is after penalties, of course. He's actually on 33, but 15 minus 15 on penalties is pretty nuts. Lawrence de Vliger is on 13. Dirk Boots on 8. Smail Labe is on 7. And then Dante Oliver with all his penalties, is actually technically on -1 point. He's got 19 overall, but -20 in penalties.
Yeah, well, let's just say he's on zero.
On the zero.
Unfortunately for him, yeah. Let's not put him down anymore. Bless him. I'm sure he'll make up for it in due course. He is here this evening, and with only 20 cars in the field, I believe. And please correct me if I am wrong there. It might be 21, 22 maximum. Good points should be up for grabs today for the entire field, regardless whether you're a pro-am, or an amateur driver. So hopefully Dante Oliver can pick up some good points and get himself a bit more off the mark there. But looks like practice is all done there, Dan. So we are going to get into the qualifying very shortly indeed. And of course, these drivers have 3 laps to themselves in 10 minutes. They have to set that lap time. Big thanks to everyone in the chat as well. Hello. Please, hope you are all enjoying the session so far and looking forward to the racing to come. But Dan, qualifying, it's really against yourself. I mean, I think we've asked you before how you would sort of tackle it. Has anything changed in the meantime?
I think Hockenheim is one of the circuits where you don't have to worry too much about your qualifying pace. It's a relatively short circuit, about 1:39 is some of the lap times we were seeing in the practice sessions. So it's not the end of the world if you can't qualify well. You just got to stay calm as per. It's you against you out there. You don't have to worry about anyone else. It's all about hitting your markers and try to be consistent with things. You've got 3 attempts at it, but you don't want to make a mistake on your first 2 laps and then all of a sudden the pressure is on for the last run by. So just keep it consistent, keep it calm like you always do, and if it goes wrong, keep a cool head. There's still a great opportunity in the race.
It certainly is. You mentioned there the sort of predicted lap time, so I'm guessing for pole was a 1:39. Well, I can tell you from real life, in sort of a Porsche Cup sense, the lap record currently stands at 1:41.1. So these guys are going much quicker than the real life counterpart. I will say, though, it was set 2 years ago. So maybe the Porsche Cup car has come a little bit along in a way of speed. I don't know. But they should be returning it for the real thing at Hockenheim next year, 2026. So it'll be interesting to see if that lap time gets beaten or not. But either way, they are mighty quick when you compare them to the real life counterparts.
Yeah, it's a great circuit, great car combination. It's all German. Of course, we got the German Porsches, and we're here in southern Germany as we are watching Gordon Marshall. He's had an up and down season, but when he has pace, he really can be fighting in the upper echelons of the Pro-Am category. I believe he is just starting off his lap now, as is everyone else getting ready for their 3 attempts at this circuit. Of course, turn number 1 is a fantastic fast corner. This is Christoph Herbeno headed through towards the final couple of corners, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he is, I think.
That's Parabolica. It's the long left-hander.
Oh, he's right at the start.
Not far off. To be fair, the track has been shortened down somewhat over the years, Dan. I think you can be forgiven. As you used to go darting off into the forest until sort of around, well, I say around, until 2002 when Hermann Tilke finally got his hands on it and shortened it. But all for the necessary cause of Formula One at that point. But either way, it's still an iconic circuit, Hockenheim, whether you go through the forest or not. It really is sort of almost Germany's own temple of speed. Until, of course, you have Monza in the mix for the F1 counterparts, or even when you get to sort of hypercars, GT cars, Porsche Cup cars, it is still a very quick circuit.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I wish we could go darting through the forest and everything like that. I think it'd be so fun. One of the only league races I've done that wasn't on the Formula One games was like a 1985 Assetto Corsa League. Around this circuit, I did 1 race, and it was at Hockenheim, and we were through the forest, and it was really cool. But I do love this layout, regardless, with the Parabolica, and it looks a bit like a boot. So we're seeing the first laps coming through. Miles Hemming has gone quickest with a 1:40.280. Andrews in second, Romano third. Herbeno is in fourth. Here comes Bas van der Klei up towards the line. We'll see how his time stacks up with the rest of the pack. He'll be in P7.
Yeah, it's not a bad time there from from Van der Kliers. I think that might have been an off through turn 1, taking a little bit too much speed on his next run, but I think he still has one more in his back pocket should he need it. But immediately at the front, they're already into the 139s. There's Van Tielen, brings it down by another tenth or so to take that provisional pole. We're just waiting really for Mamassi to see what he can set out of the box. But I mean, looking from practice, Dan, we saw Van Tielen and Vossa, they really were only within sort of a few hundredths of Mamassi's lap time. So this could be a very interesting race indeed, particularly in terms of championship points as well, because if they could get the better of Mamassi, as you can see on the bottom of your screen there, he is going purple. We come to expect it at this point. But either way, they are still very close in lap time. There's a chance that they can take the fight to him this evening.
Absolutely, and one more incident like what happened at Road Atlanta last time out. I mean, they could be right back in it and possibly ahead of Noah Mamassi, despite him clean sweeping for the first 3 races of this season. It is still up in the air, and that is the nature of this fantastic series. As through the final few corners comes Noah Mamassi. We'll see what his first effort it will be. 1 minute 39.822 to beat thus far. To come across the line, 1 minute 42, so that is not a push lap there. We saw him sort of back off right through the last corner, and now he's going again and drops it at the first turn. Can he keep out of the wall? Indeed he can. This will give him 1 lap to set a time.
Oh, I'm curious though, because we haven't seen him on screen the entire session, so is that it for Mamassi? He's obviously reset to pit lane. We'll see if he goes out. He has done 2, we're being told, so he's definitely got the chance for 1 more at least. But pressure on for him. Currently 14th there at the moment. That really is going to be a hell of a lap should he be able to pull it off. As I believe I just saw Muleman go across the line, going 8th position. Dante Oliver, he's up to 16th now, and just behind Nevin Charney there for the amateur category. Luers goes into 12th. I tell you what, Dan, this is going to be some hell of a race when we get to it, because these lap times are not separated by much at all. Even right from pole all the way down to Verstappen at the moment, only 2 seconds. It sounds like a lot, but when you've got all of those drivers in between, only a tenth or 2 here separating each of them. Very close racing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When you consider the level of skill difference in terms of just iRating and experience, I mean, this should be a lot wider than 2 seconds. It should be 3 or 4. I mean, it is a very, very close look so far, so I think we can have a fantastic night of racing. Here is Christoph Herbeno, improving in the first and second sector. See what he can do as he heads through the final few corners now. Keep his foot flat to the floor, and we'll see what he can do as he comes across the line. It's going to be a 1 minute 39.956. That is enough to stay. I think he's actually down on his previous best there, unfortunately.
I think he did improve. I just don't think it improved his positioning. I think it was
a couple tenths,
yeah, it just didn't bring him up. But Van Look, what a lap there from him out of nowhere almost. Jumps up to 5th position ahead of Hemming and Farrier, the pro drivers. So Maiko Van Look really needed that lap as well, particularly when we're looking at championship standings, because he'll want the best start possible compared to his rivals in Muleman and Andrews. Andrews having a bit of a tough time down in 11th. I'm just trying to work out who we're riding on board with here. This is Matthew Collin as he makes his way round the final corner. South Curve in English, or Sulkur in German. I probably butchered that, but either way, as they cross the line, Colin goes up to 13th position. Clays sets the time on the board as well. He's 19th.
Just 2 minutes left of qualifying, give or take. So Bernardo Faria, he's coming across the line. This should be his final attempt. Currently in P7, 6/10 off the pace. Or maybe he's, no, he's just completed his lap, and there it is, a 1 minute 39.767. So that is brought him very close and into the fight with Jento van Tijlen and Corey Lazarus in second position. Here's Steve Clays, 1.5 off the pace. It's some pretty good speed that he's carrying through today. Currently in 19th position. He's at the front. He just come out the hairpin now.
Certainly is now coming into the stadium section of this circuit, largely unchanged actually throughout its entire history of Hockenheim, right the way back from the 1930s all the way through to modern day. As soon as you get around this right-hander and onto this small little straight here, part of the drag strip, This is what would have been part of the original I believe it was 1938 layout. So all of this has largely been unchanged. Of course, safety standards will improve it all over time, but these are the original circuit designs of Hockenheim, which is fascinating when you get circuits like that. They are obviously old school. They're steeped in history, and it's so rich as well with everything that has gone on at this circuit. I'm pretty sure it's hosted every event under the sun in terms of motorsport, Dan. It really is a fantastic venue.
Oh yeah, it's iconic. It's one of the greatest circuits, I think, in Europe, maybe all over the world. And that is a great lap time from Steve Clays, a 1:40.782 from him. That puts him quickest by a good few tenths over his closest rookie competitor in Dante Oliver. We've only got one driver out on circuit now. It is Angelo Laverse. With about 15 seconds left of qualifying, there is no sign of Hadi Noah Mamasi. So on a 21-car grid, for the first time, he will not be starting on pole, but down in 18th position.
I was wondering if he actually got on the lap and set it, but you just said he's not on the circuit. There goes Lewis as well, unable to finish that lap, unfortunately. Qualifying done and dusted, but, well, biggest upset there, Dan, is definitely going to be Hadi Noah Mamasi down in 18th position, and his perfect form of pole has certainly gone now while we get into round 5 here at Hockenheim. But Van Thielen will take then top honours, and Corey Lazarus is going to keep him company alongside on the front row. Bernardo Faria jumping up to third in the end, just pipping Felix Votter to the post on the second row there. Christopher Herbeno and Maiko Van Look with an incredible lap, mixing in amongst the pros on the third row. Miles Hemming and Gordon Marshall, Gordon there as well with a mighty lap, also getting in and amongst the pro drivers. Yannick Mühleman and Jeffrey Ross is going to be on that 5th row, 9th and 10th, and Luke Andrews and Bas van der Klei on the 6th, 11th and 12th. Further down the order, Matthew Collin is going to be 13th with Steve Clays, mighty lap from him there for the amateur driver, in 14th. Angelo Lewis and Lucas Romano 15th, 16th, and then we get to Dante Oliver and Hadi Noah Mamasi, well out of position. He's going to be someone to keep an eye on in this race. Max Nevenchani, Navarro Debova 19th and 20th, and rounding us out is Yellow for Stratton and Smile Labe 21st and 22nd. I mean, Dan, what's your predictions on this one? This is going to be very interesting.
Oh, absolutely. You could really go any which way, I think, with the top 4. They seem so close in qualifying. But I think one thing that might almost, barring an act of God, is inevitable is Hadi Noah Mamasi rising through the field. We always see him leading from the front, and I wonder how is he going to cope when he's all the way back in the pack, down in 18th position, as everyone is getting into their cars now. We should soon be going for the sprint race here in Hockenheim.
Look at all those cars in front of him. He is going to have a troublesome time, I'm sure. He's going to have to play the long game here, especially if he wants to work his way through without incident. Either way, we're about to find out how it is all going to shake out here at Hockenheim. The lights are on, the drivers are ready, and now we're about to go under green racing conditions, foot flat to the floor, and there goes 22 Porsche Cup cars down towards turn 1. There's big contact in the background. That's Gordon Marshall. That's just devastating for him at the start there. He's managed to keep the car going and back underway, and Maiko Van Look, another contender for the Pro-Am category. That is absolutely tragic for the drivers there as they make their way into the hairpin for the first time. All good and clean for all the rest of them, just about trying to find space on the circuit. My word, dear oh dear, Maiko Van Look, that is not what he needed.
And here comes Hadi Noah Mamasi already beginning his charge up the field. He's got Bas van der Klei just in front of him as they approach the hairpin for the first time in this race. Down the inside looks the grid and go driver, number 69, almost into the back of number 159. That is Luke Andrews, the championship leader in the prime category, and it is chaos down at the hairpin. Navarro de Bova has been involved in an incident there. There is Yellow Stratton. Smell Labe as well, I believe, is involved in an incident. A meatball flag for Luca Romano. It's gone all wrong throughout the start of this race.
Yeah, they're just trying to find their positioning, trying to find their feet in this as well, aren't they, really? Is Yannick Mühleman trying to go for a move, or is he trying to defend it from Herbigna? I'm not too sure which way round that started out. It's not Herbigna, sorry, it's Ross. Either way, he is ahead, so Mühleman hangs on to that 7th spot as they make their way now into that stadium part, the final few corners of this lap. when we had a brief view of Romano's car there, Dan, it didn't look like there was an awful lot of damage to it. I wonder if it's all around the back end of things, because from the front, it looked pretty all right. Here's another quick look then at Romano. Can we see the back of that car?
He looks a bit unstable of sorts, but
I wonder if it's suspension.
I think
maybe.
It must be. He looks really bouncy, and maybe it's in my head, but he looked a little bit right-leaning at the rear, so maybe, possibly, he was hit at some point, but nevertheless, he's into the pit lane. Here we see Hadinoa Mamasi already on the second lap of this race, taking towards the Parabolica. He's up into 9th position.
Yeah, that's mighty impressive stuff from him, and I'm sure he'll have another little send down into the hairpin as well. Van Thielen, though, got the getaway he needed. He's defending from Lazarus. Lazarus having a look at the lunge into the hairpin then for the second lap. He's just about got the car stopped. They're side by side. Van Thielen got to run it a little bit wide. He's not going to give that up very easily. I wonder if he'll be wanting to maybe give that up and let Lazarus take the position, because he got the car stopped.
Whoa.
They had enough room. And oh, there's a little swipe there. Has he got it under control? Lazarus off. He's off. He's going to lose many positions now. And that looked a little bit naughty.
He's been able to rejoin at the very least, and he's not got any visible damage. I mean, it was a very light touch, but it was enough to send him into the grass, and he couldn't get the car stopped. Here's a replay of what happened. Headed in towards the corner. They're side by side, and then just that little tap there into the grass, and he can't get it slowed down, but he does keep it out of the wall. He keeps out the gravel, and he's able to keep on going.
Yeah, he's still very well in that fight. You know, he's within that train of slipstream, so he's not going to lose too much of an effect in that. But yeah, a couple of positions lost. It has a promoted Votter, and he's right now on the back of Van Thielen as well. You can see the cars further back there as well. The pros have all sorted themselves back up the front, as the Pro-Am just dropping a little bit by the wayside. But either way, in the Massey at the back of this train now, you could say, and it'll be a bit harder from here on, because the pace difference is not that great. Either way, Van Thielen still leads on lap number 3, Votter in hot pursuit. Farrier just a little ways back with Lazarus keeping him company, and then we get to Hemming, Herbino and the Massey, that pro category there, all at the top now, and this is still going to be the fight for the lead. Van Thielen goes defensive.
In towards the hairpin they go. It's going to be Felix Votter looking around the outside, who'll have the momentum of getting on the power a little bit earlier, but Van Thielen with the line. Can he hang it in there? Felix Votter still looking for the move, trying to go around the outside of the next right-hander. Turn number 7 this is, but I think he's just about going to be forced out. He could look up the inside in towards turn number 8. Very defensive driving from Jentel Van Thielen. In comes Bernardo Faria. When the two leaders get it all wrong, he's able to pick up the pieces, gets through on one and gets through on the other. Bernardo Faria, he's looking to take the lead, and they're 3 wide headed in towards Mobile 1.
Oh, this is absolutely insane. What a move from Farrier. Seized the opportunity when he could. And there's contact. Van Thielen and Votter. They touch side by side. How have they collected that up? I don't know. This is going to promote Lazarus up to try and get in on the action. Van Thielen drifting through the corners at this point. Hemming looming large as well. And in all of that, they have lost a little bit of time to Herbinho and Mamasi behind. But somehow, I don't know how, Dan, no incidents from all of that. They were 4 wide almost into Mobile 1. Insane.
That was incredible. That was very, very scary. I thought both Van Thielen and I think Votter were going to go straight into the grass and into the wall. But somehow they've all kept it clean, and we go again, it seems. I mean, they're all still within touching distance of each other. Here is Christoph Herbino and Hadinoa Mamasi in all of that, and Miles Hemming as well has actually been able to close the gap to the top 4. So now we've got a 7-car fight for the lead.
Oh, this is brilliant stuff. Absolutely amazing. This is what we come to Hockenheim for. I love the straights with the tight hairpin turns. It allows moves such as that from Mamasi down the inside of 1. Not 1, but 2 of this contact. He tags Lazarus in the process. Lazarus dropping down the order. And how do you know, Mamasi, that is going to be a slam dunk penalty for you, sir.
Yeah, that wasn't it. That wasn't... It's great to be confident, but it was a bit of a late send. I mean, that was always going to happen. Corey Lazarus, for the 2nd time in this race, has been hit. And to be completely honest, through no fault of his own, here we are on board with Hadinoa Mamasi, looking to the inside of Christoph Herbino. He goes deep on the brakes, can't get it stopped in time, and just... yeah, spears into Corey Lazarus. I think a couple of meters earlier, if he braked, he'd have been fine.
I mean, he got one. I knew Herbener was up for the attack, but I wasn't expecting Hemming to be on the chopping block as well, and it was just all too much in the end. It's a real shame, and poor Lazarus, he's still in this, but he has dropped further down the order. We can see him here riding on board with him. He is in amongst the pro-ams and amateur drivers. Steve Clay's there, I've just realised. He's right behind him. The amateur driver is 12th position currently as it stands, and I would like to think he probably can get a few more here in the process of things, especially with Lazarus potentially carrying a bit of damage. Steve Clay's, what a drive so far.
Absolutely, he's only a couple of spots off of maybe seeing himself into the top 8. Here is Luke Andrews, your championship leader in the Pro-Am category, trying to do some defending against Matthew Collins for 9th position. The one spot that you need lower than to take pole position in the next race, as Collins not able to make move this time. Bayer now in towards the hairpin they go. Luke Andrews very, very defensive. They swap positions further up the order. Mamasi is through on Hemming, I believe, and Corey Lazarus trying to find his footing in this battle, but can't quite get through on the two Pro-Am drivers, who are incredible talents in their own rights. Now in towards turn number 8 they go once again. Matthew Collins trying to find the move on Luke Andrews, and Lazarus is there to pick up the pieces as these guys go side by side. Surely a good run here from the pro driver. He could see himself up a couple of spots. They're still side by side.
You would have hoped so for him, but I mean, at the same time, it's so difficult to get a move here, especially in this stadium section. Your best chances, of course, turn 3 and turn number 7 is the hairpin, I believe. So yeah, it's so difficult at this point of the circuit. You kind of just have to play a bit of follow the leader. But I was going to say, keep an eye on Lazarus, because with these two fighting quite hard as well, this is where you see the smart driving sort of come into play. And you can just watch him and see where he positions that car to then really pounce on the exit, because these two, they're going to take a tighter line, they're going to defend from one another, and try and attack, of course. But Lazarus there, he's just going to take the smart approach. He'll just try and maximize his speed, and then he'll be able, like you say, pick up the pieces from those two scrapping in front. Here we go, down towards turn number 3. He's having a little look, he's just eyeing them up, sizing them up, shall we say. And then as we come out of 3, through the kink of 4, and then along the through 5 as well, sorry, and on this long straight of 6, say straight, slightly curved, he's just going to try and maximise the momentum, the speed, and then he should easily get them done into the hairpin.
Yeah, looking to the inside of Luke Andrews, and in towards the braking zone they go. He's got the inside, he's just got to meet his braking point, and there it is. Corey Lazarus into 10th position. But in all of this battling between Matthew Collin and Luke Andrews, they've now lost a decent chunk of time to the top 8, and of course 8th position is what you need in the sprint race to take pole in the main race later on. That is currently occupied by Yannick Muleman, as Corey Lazarus has got through on Matthew Collin. They're still fighting it out through turn number 8. I mean, he's finally got the move done, but that looked a little bit more difficult than I think Corey Lazarus would have liked. And now the gap, as you can see, is 3.3 to Muleman ahead.
Yeah, it's going to be some doing to close that down, particularly with 3 laps to go. That looks like Andrew's having a little look at Colin as well in the aftermath of Lazarus getting through. The gap at the front has closed slightly between Farrier, Votter and Van Thielen. Van Thielen closing in there on the front too. You've got Mamasi a little bit further back. So, I mean, these guys really just want to focus on, I think, getting to the finish at this point and make sure that Mamasi doesn't get ahead, because at that point, they are gaining on him in the championship even further. And by that, I do refer to more Votter and Van Thielen. But still, this is going to be a brilliant result for Bernardo Farrier, should he hang on to this. But the pressure is mounting in the closing stages of this sprint race. Let's see what he can do.
I think Bernardo really is feeling the pressure on our telemetry. If OT means what I think it means Bernardo Farrier has 15 off tracks just trying to defend this lead. He's really pushing the boundaries of what is legal here. Felix Votter is looking to the inside line at the hairpin, giving a slight nudge as well to Farrier, giving him the hurry up, telling him to get a move on. Off the exit the corner they go. Farrier still holds on to the lead with 2.5 laps left to go in this race. Votter is getting very, very close, so you get the feeling that Felix is looking for the position very, very soon. And Van Thielen's got it all wrong off the exit of turn number 8, and unfortunately he's dropped about a second back now.
Yeah, pushing, trying to find the limits of that Porsche Cup car, and well, let's say he absolutely found them and went a little bit beyond, because he has now dropped further back, and you could say almost into the clutches of Mamassi. But either way, here's the move for Votta, trying to do it the long way around the outside of the Sachs curve in the stadium part, and I think he's just about done the up and under, but Faria, he's not going to give this one up. Now through the final few corners, he has that inside line. He is definitely going to show Votta the edge of the circuit, and fair play to him. He had the racing line, he had the position, so he is well within his right to do so. Of course, we do want to see a car's width of racing room, but you know, it does get slowly edged out, and he really is trying to push and find the limits there. I wonder, has he done it too much and picked up a slowdown at some point, though? Because the wider you go there, the more you do risk it. But dear, oh dear, these guys have closed up once again, and now they've got Mamassi right on their tail.
Absolutely, and we've got just 2 laps to go left in this race. Bernardo Faria, he sets the tone. He lets Felix Votta know that he's really going to have to work harder than that if he wants to make the move. It was a creative overtake attempt from Felix Votta, but Bernardo Faria was able to hang on by the skin of his teeth. And now in towards the hairpin for the 8th time in this race. Faria still ahead of Felix Votta, but Jentel Van Tielen's been able to recover that time he lost, and the top 4 is separated by just over a second. It is an incredibly close fight heading into the last lap and a half of this race. Bernardo Faria, can he hold on?
Well, that's going to be the ultimate question, isn't it? This is between Mühlmann and Jeffrey Ross. Mühlmann getting the move done. He moves up into 7th then. That means Ross, currently as it stands, will have that reverse pole position. You see there further in the background, Lazarus still chasing them down, but he hasn't really made any inroads, unfortunately. And even Colin and Andrews, they're still sticking with him. Clays as well. They seem to really have picked up that slipstream and not let him get away, shall we say. But further down, Steve Clay still doing the business, still in 12th position, and he is defending off Maiko Van Look, Pro-Am contender for that title there, as Steve Clay really is doing a solid performance here of defending. He's got 1 lap to hold it all together. Can he do it, Dan? That is the question.
iRacing really is just a number at the end of the day, as there's a very wide car at the back of the pack. We are on the final lap here, and the battle for the lead is still raging on. But now Felix Votta, he's got a sense of urgency about him. Just 2 tenths is separating himself and the race lead, and headed towards the Parabolica for the final time in this race. He will follow in the wheel tracks of Bernardo Faria. Jentel Van Tielen with the best seat in the house. Where will Faria place his car? He'll defend the inside line. Votta has got to go the long way round. Jentel Van Tielen is seeing himself up the inside now of Felix Votta, who's a bit passive into the braking zone, will remain in 2nd place. Off the exit of the hairpin they go, and in towards the last 2 sectors. Faria's held on for now.
Yeah, he's holding on. Oh, this is going to be the dart for Votta. Can he get it done under the braking? Oh, he's almost alongside. Here comes Van Tielen, though, to join the party. He's now going to be side by side as they really get into this stadium section now. He does have to drop back. Votta holding on to it. Faria still holding on to the lead, but barely. Mamassi's lost a position. He's lost another. Herbano's up. Hemming's up. What has happened to Hadinoa Mamassi? He's dropping down the order. Has he run out of fuel, Dan? I don't know. What is happening to Mamassi?
I think
he's dropping more.
I think he must have, and through the final few corners, Bernardo Faria, I don't think he can be overtaken now. Felix Votta did all he could, but it's going to be Faria.
He's going to take the win here. Happy days for Bernardo Faria, finally bouncing back and to the top then here in the Hockenheim sprint. Votta hangs on to 2nd from Van Tielen in 3rd. Herbinho 4th, Hemming 5th. Mühlmann and Ross, they move up there into 6th and 7th. Mamassi then, he's going to have to get that reverse grid pole. I mean, he'll be happy with that either way, but yeah, it looks like the fuel dried up in his Porsche Cup car. And then we do have Lazarus, Colin, Andrews, and this man here, Steve Clays, 12th position there in the sprint. That's going to be a nice haul of points as they all come together. Van Look, Lewis, Van der Klei, Oliva, Marshall, Nevin Charney, De Bova, Verstraeten, Labe, and Romano there, who we saw early on in this race retire with damage. I mean, Dan, what a race that was. That was fantastic. Let's hope for more in the main event itself. We are going to take a quick break here whilst we get ready and all set up for that main event. So don't go too far, and we'll see you in a few short moments. Hello everybody, welcome back, and we'll give a quick big thanks to our big sponsors here for the Porsche Cup Series. Of course we have Eagle Speed, the title sponsor, making sure this is all possible, and a big thanks and a huge shout out to KGL Automotive as well. So huge thanks to those guys for making everything possible here. And of course, big thanks to Apex Racing TV as well for having us and hosting, I suppose, Dan, isn't it? In a sense. But either way, we're back for this main event. I mean, what do we take from that sprint race, Dan? I mean, it was absolutely fantastic start to finish.
Yeah, it was brilliant racing. I think they were right on the limit. Plenty of guys were going off, and somehow, for the most part, they kept it very, very clean. Other than turn number 1 between Gordon Marshall and Michael Van Luck, and then Mimasi with his kamikaze move on Corey Lazarus, who you gotta feel bad for. I think Corey Lazarus, he didn't put a foot wrong in that race. Will now start from 9th, was 1 place off of that pole conversion position, which just so happens to go to Hadi Noah Mamasi when he has got the pace to run away with it today.
Well, you would certainly hope so. I mean, looking at the main event, I think I did see he had the fastest lap under his belt. So we certainly know he's got it and he can certainly use it. But there we go. The results once again from the sprint. Faria, Votta, Van Thielen, your podium spots. And then Herbino, Hemming, Muleman, Mamasi there, it says 7th. And then Jeffrey Ross 8th. So has that changed? Interesting. I suppose we'll find out in a few short moments when they're all lined up on the grid. Either way, though, as you said, Lazarus, victim of circumstance, in 9th. He'll start there. Colin 10th. Andrews Clays with a fantastic 12th again. Van Luck will look to improve and get ahead of Andrews if he can. Lewis, Van der Klei, Oliver, Marshall, Nevin Charney. And then a bit further down the order would have been Debova, Verstraeten and Laib. Oh, and we cannot forget Romano. Of course, he unable to finish the first event, but he'll be back. He'll be back with a vengeance as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I hope he's still in the server. I can't quite see him on our telemetry, but maybe. Oh no, he is there. Okay, he's all right. He'll be able to keep on racing. And yeah, I'm just looking at the timing tower from the end of the race, and Jeffrey Ross did finish in 7th, about 2/10 ahead of Mimasi, so that is a bit strange, but we'll see how they line up on the grid. They should still be 1 and 2 regardless, and yeah, with the pace that Hadi Noah Mamasi has been showing, not just today but throughout the entire season, it certainly plays into his advantage to be starting from that pole. He can just run away with it, but this is the first time we're actually going to see him on pole for the main race. Most of the time, I think maybe every single time, he started the main race in 8th.
It has been, up until now, every single time. If he's not at the front for the sprint, he was in 8th for the main race. And that is how it has played out all the way up until this week at Hockenheim. So clearly the crux of Mamasi. But either way, he's right where he wants to be, I would imagine, for this main event. Is where you pick up the biggest amount of points. It's double what you would have picked up from the sprint. So yeah, he's looking at that points deficit. He lost out last time. He's going to want to make up for it and keep this run going for him, and he's, like we said, he's in the right spot for it. So certainly looking up for Mamasi, and there's a few other drivers out there I think we should definitely keep an eye on. Van Luck and Andrews, Muleman as well, they're all battling for that title of the Pro-Am category. And then when we do look at down towards the amateurs as well, Verstraeten and Debova especially, they're going to be looking to try and pick up some big points, especially when it is so close down at the bottom.
And then, as you can see by our grid that we have on the screen, of course, Jeffrey Ross is actually starting on pole ahead of Hadi Noah Mamasi. There's a bit of desync here with the time. It actually says they're exactly the same, so we'll see how this one plays out. Yannick Muleman starts in 3rd alongside Miles Hemming. 5th is Christoph Herbino and Jentel Van Thielen. Then Felix Votta and Bernardo Freire 1 and 2 in the sprint. Now starts 7th and 8th in the main race. Corey Lazarus just missing out on that top 8 position. And Matthew Collin rounds out the top 10. It's Luke Andrews and Steve Clays. A fantastic P12 from him in the sprint. He will see himself starting there. And then Michael Van Luck, a good recovery into 13th position. Angelo Laverse 14th, 15th. Baz van der Klei. Dante Oliver starts in 16th. 17th is Gordon Marshall. And here we go, Ashley.
Well, you can see the timing tower there, but the lights have already gone out. That didn't hold at all. And what a start there from Jeffrey Ross. Immediately springs into the lead, and Mamasi following in tow as they're all going to try and vie for position a bit further back there. Jeffrey Ross still hanging on to the lead for the time being as they make their way down towards turn number 3. And Mamasi on the inside, under braking. Easy as you like for Hadi Noah, and he will take the lead then from the start. Pretty much from the off, but either way had a little bit of work to do as further back cars still trying to vie for track position, but do seem to have got away pretty cleanly.
Yeah, we've seen Bernardo Faria now get a drive-through penalty. I wonder if there was a jump start from his point of view. Here is Jentel van Tielen looking towards the outside line, and meanwhile up the front of the order, Miles Hemming is down the inside of Jeffrey Ross. So your pole sitter now is relegated into P3. Herbino has been able to hold off Jentel van Tielen. There's a car off the circuit. I believe that was Matthew Collin, able to rejoin without much issue. But yeah, Bernardo Faria, drive-through penalty.
Yeah, real shock there from Faria. Like you say, must have been the jump start we're looking at. But either way, much cleaner getaway from the majority of this field. Few cars using the runoff, but that's A-OK in my book, particularly on lap number 1. You don't want to make sure you're causing contact, but it's better to avoid it. Steve Clays, I will add, up into 10th, Dan. What a start from Steve there. And he's in the top 10. He's ahead of a pro driver in Faria, and he's ahead of the majority of the Pro-Am field as well.
Oh, it's a great start, and he's 5 places clear of his closest competitor in Navarro de Bova, and then the rest of the amateur classes right at the tail end of the field. Here is Angelo Laverse and de Bova actually scrapping it out for 15th position. Angelo Laverse in his white Porsche has been able to get through, and Bernardo Faria takes to the pit lane to serve that drive-through penalty. This will be a difficult race for him to recover, and that's all wrong from Navarro de Bova. He's been able to keep the control, but he'll drop right to the back of this train, and is just for good measure as well going to get slowed down.
I was going to say, just to add to insult to injury, he picks up the slow down. Already served it though, so fair play to him. But like you say, drops to the very back of the field, so he's got everything in front of him to make up. As we jump to the front here with Fabinho in 5th, he's defending from Felix Votter there, and Votter going to have to go the long way around if he wants to hang on to that position. Fabinho having none of it. Well defended there from the, I believe, the Frenchman. No, sorry, I do apologise, the Belgium. Either way, moving forward and still in this race, all of these drivers. Brilliant stuff, brilliant start once again, lap number 2, and we've had very minimal contact here, Dan, so that bodes well, particularly when you've got all the pros right at the front, and Jeffrey Ross holding his own as well.
Yeah, it's a bit tamer than the start of the sprint race, but I think that's to be expected. This is a longer 18-lap race here, double the length, of course, of the sprint, and with double the length comes double the points. It'll be 50 for the win. Here is Felix Votter to the outside line of Christophe Herbino through the Sachs curve, and I believe Herbino is able to just about muscle him out there, lose a little bit of time in the process, and now down the inside once again. Felix Votter very much feeling the urgency to make the move on Christophe. He's still sticking a nose in there, and off the exit of the final corner, had to hold the car ever so slightly. Corey Lazarus is now looking up the inside of Felix, and these guys still going nose to tail through turn number 1.
Yeah, really impressive from the pair of them there. I was going to say from Votter, it seemed like a bit of a scare tactic into the final few corners, but he actually almost made the move pay off. But fair play from Herbino. He did defend it ever so well, and Votter also cleaning it up to not lose control of his Porsche, as well as now they make their way down the Parabolica towards the Spitz curve, the hairpin right at the end of it. Herbino is going to go defensive. Van Tielen has got Ross keeping him company, but I think he's going to do him on the brakes. Certainly seemed that way. Herbino and Votter side by side then, as well as Lazarus trying to come through the order as well. He's now going to get a better exit than Votter, and now Votter's going to be doing some defending here.
Absolutely, Corey Lazarus, a good recovery from what happened in the sprint race, is now trying to take 6th position off of Felix Votter, who's got it all wrong and goes into the rear left panel of Christophe Herbino, who's able to spin the car back round and get back onto the circuit, but that is not what you want to see. Contact between rivals in the pro category, on board with Felix Votter, trying to defend this position from Corey Lazarus, and then on the brakes, just gets it all wrong, sends it up the inside, and just about catches Christoph Herbeno. Again, that's a similar situation with what we saw between Miles Hemming and Hadinoa Mamasi in the sprint race, where just a couple of meters, if Felix was a brake earlier, then that would have been completely avoided.
Yeah, it's a shame, and the thing is, Herbeno's just a victim of circumstance in that one. And but when you look at that kind of racing, in all fairness to Votter, who is that round in the background? That's for Stratton dropping further down the order, getting it all wrong out the final corner. Farrier, Oliva and Labe are out as well, so 19th position is the last one as it stands at the moment. So Stratton back under steam again. But back to Votter. You know, in defence to him, he was doing the defensive line against Lazarus, and if Hemming wasn't there, sorry, not Hemming, Herbeno, if he wasn't there, of course, no contact would have been made, but you do have to factor in the cars around you, in front and behind. So he got his braking zones right. It was just a shame that he happened to meet a car on the apex.
Yeah, I mean, you're completely responsible for the cars in front of you, but it wasn't like he was going to miss the corner. It was just a slight miscalculation. Nothing malicious from Felix Votter. The stewards, I'm sure, will still have a look at it, and I think there must be a penalty coming Felix's way, but that is just, you know, that's the risk that you take, trying to defend a position from Corey Lazarus. If you weren't to do that, then Corey Lazarus would have gotten through, and he would have lost the position anyway. So, I mean, you can't really blame him all that much for trying it, but yeah. Unfortunate, really, for Christoph Herbeno. Here is Jentel van Thielen up the inside of the Sachs curve on Miles Hemming. This is for second position. Effectively, Hadinoa Mamasi is now 2.1, 2.2 seconds up the road. This is really the best these guys are going to do, so they might as well get a good fight out of it.
Tell you what a move there from Van Thielen into the Sachs curve. That is a mighty difficult pass to make. I can tell you that from experience in a GT3 car, and I even have the assists on to help me get the thing slowed down. These guys are doing it without anything. No ABS, no traction control. And I tell you what, all of that car control was absolutely incredible. Fair play to the pair of them, and a brilliant pass there by Van Thielen.
Yeah, these Cup cars are a little bit more raw than the GT3 counterpart. I think they're a bit slower, but nevertheless, I mean, that was an incredible battle, and they don't have the ABS and they don't have the traction like they do in the GT3 spec. So the Porsche Cup is a different beast to drive, even though they are still the same name and pretty much the same car. As almost there was a bit of scary contact as one Hemming car is able to stay in P3. We've got Luke Andrews trying to defend P7.
I think he just made the move on Muleman up to 7th, Dan. Sorry to correct you there on that one. But either way, he's defending it now from Muleman as he's going to go along the outside, and Muleman gets the traction needed as Andrews clipped the inside bump there, unsettled the car, couldn't get the power down. Look at Steve Clays looming large as well in this. He's up to 9th position, is Steve Clays. This is an incredible drive from him, and he's hungry for more. You can feel it. I know he wants to get higher up. Of course they all do. But really impressive stuff from Steve.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the biggest points haul from a rookie driver, an amateur driver, was Navarro de Boa last time out in Road Atlanta. He took 17 points from the first and second race, and now, I mean, he finished in 14th position in the main race. Steve Clays is in a top 10 spot. No one's been able to do that so far this season in the amateur category. It'll be a fantastic feat if he's able to pull it off, and the way that this battle's going in front of him, I think he can be there, he can be present, and if anything happens, he'll be there to reap the rewards of staying patient and having the best seat in the house. So Steve Clays, keep doing what you're doing as we continue to watch this battle a lap later, pretty much. I mean, they're still going hammer and tong down the Parabolica.
Brilliant stuff from all these guys. I think if I do a bit of quick maths in my head for Steve, if he stays where he is and gets the points, as I'll come back to it, because Andrews is going for the move into the hairpin. Can he get it done on the brakes? Doesn't seem to on that occasion. Muleman still running it wide around the outside, hanging onto it for the time being. He's going to get another shot at trying to get the move done into the left-hander of turn number 9. And Andrews, is he going to get it there? Not quite. Muleman still hanging on, and Steve Clays right up on the back of Andrews now, so he's going to have to look into his mirrors a little bit, because he's coming under threat as that's a car off. It's his teammate in Miles Hemming. Miles Hemming off, and he's now going to drop down the order.
He's got damage at the front of the car. It's a little bit banged up there, so there might have been some contact possibly with Jens van Tielen, or maybe he's hit the wall somewhere along the road. Let's see what happened here with Miles Hemming, following in the wheel tracks of Jens van Tielen as he dropped it on the exit of the corner. Indeed he had. He's gone over the sausage curb and bang into the wall there, completely smashing up the front of the car. And actually it spat him out in a pretty nice position because he's able to just get the power back down and then keep on going. But some front end damage will definitely affect the drivability of that car. Doesn't have a meatball flag, so can keep going, but is now all the way down in 10th position.
I wonder if he got lucky and hit it pretty square and it's just dented his ego to start, but also just the aero package of that car, because it looks pretty alright in a straight line, but we'll find out for him. Either way, I think he's going to struggle here a bit. He's down to 10th now. That promotes Clays up into 8th position as well. Oh, the mighty are just climbing higher and higher. Brilliant stuff there. But yeah, between Mühlmann and Andrews, I forgot what my point was earlier, so maybe we'll come back to it if I remember. Either way, Hemming now going to have a bit of a struggle in the rest of this race, as this is Van Look getting overtaken by Gordon Marshall into the hairpin. And I think that's slam dunk and done.
Yeah, these two have already had a little bit of a coming together at the start of the sprint race and been able to keep it clean this time by Christoph Herbeno. Has kept in this race. He hasn't retired. He's not come back into the pits, so he's continuing on. He's up to 13th position again, trying to recover something from this race. And I always like when a driver does that. It's to their own credit to just, you know, keep on going and keep giving us an entertaining day. As there's another car off the road. That was Angelo Lavers, and he gets a slow down for completely extending turn number 9, but he's able to keep on running. And in the case of Miles Hemming, I think he hit it in sort of the place that is designed to be crumpled a little bit. You know, it's the crumple zone. But if he would hit that at an angle, you're absolutely right. Maybe some suspension damage. So definitely Hemming very, very lucky. So we're looking back at the leaders. Shout out to Jeffrey Ross, still keeping it in P4.
Yeah, this is actually really good defending from him. You can see there on his lap times, he is a little bit slower than the pros around him, as this could be the move then for Lazarus at last. Down the inside there, turn number 3, but he is going to come back under threat from this long sweeping straight of Parabolica. It might give Jeffrey Ross another look at getting back by Lazarus into the hairpin. Let's stay with them, see what he can do. On sweeping right-hander, as I said, left-hander, sorry, as I said. He'll be in the slipstream. He'll get that bit of overspeed. Doesn't look like he's going to go for it though. Going to sit behind as further back. Andrews on Mühlmann once again. Mühlmann going defensive and deep, and that is going to allow Andrews finally to get the move done and through on his championship rival Luke Andrews up into 6th position.
The classic up and under from Luke Andrews there. That is a textbook overtake from him. Mühlmann got it a little bit wrong into the hairpin, went deep, and Luke Andrews saw the opportunity, broke earlier than Mühlmann, who ended up outbraking himself back onto the power earlier. And it was a fantastic overtaking manoeuvre from Luke Andrews. But still, Mühlmann is in the fight, and these two are going to continue their battling. And now Jeffrey Ross is also in the picture, just in front of them. Maybe if they work together a little bit, slipstream off one another, we could see a nice fight for the class win in the Pro-Am category.
It certainly could be the case. I mean, in terms of their fastest lap times, looking at it, I think they're pretty even in terms of pace. That is Ross and Andrews I am referring to. So it's going to be a little bit of some doing there for Luke Andrews to catch up to Ross, especially when he's getting a nice tow from Corey Lazarus in front of him. So it's going to be difficult, but he's still got 9 laps to do it. He's got half the race left to get it done. So who knows what's going to happen here, Dan, because for all we know, we could see cars running out of fuel or anything. You can never tell with things like this, but at the moment, Ross doing a stellar job. Andrews has done a really great job of getting up into 6th position ahead of his rivals. That's what he's looking to do. Clays is still absolutely the man on a mission this evening, because he's had one good result already and he's looking for that second as well.
He's absolutely smashing it here today, and if he keeps out of trouble, then you know, who knows what could happen. As I say that, he runs very deep in towards the hairpin. This could be a possible overtaking opportunity for Bas van der Klei, right on the bumper of Steve Clays, headed through turn number 7. The next braking zone at turn number 8 could see Bas van der Klei around the outside line, but he gets it completely wrong, misses his marks, and will rejoin the circuit behind Steve Clays, who kept his cool when it mattered. And now Miles Hemming is in the wheel tracks of his fellow countryman in Van der Klein. They will stay as they are, but that was a bit of a risky move there from Van der Klein. It didn't quite pay off.
It certainly didn't. I tell you what, Dan, when we had Sam here last time out, he's a man that's been around the block a few times as well. I think he knows a lot of these guys through various years of history in the Porsche Cup and just sort of iRacing itself. I think he said that Steve Clays has been around for some years as well, shall we say. So even though he is an amateur in status, I think that's purely just down to sort of, I will say it, a little bit of pace, but he knows what he's doing. He knows how to race a car. Of course, he's part of the Eagle Speed Academy. We've had him here in the commentary box in the interviews before. He's got experience there, shall we say. So Steve Clays, he's no stranger to pressure. And, well, it's just showing once again what these kind of drivers can do, regardless of the title they are given in terms of pro-am, amateur. Doesn't matter. Let's go racing. That's all I can say.
Absolutely, and a slowdown penalty for Corey Lazarus could see Jeffrey Ross retaking P4. Lazarus slowing down off the exit of the corner, and there it is, Jeffrey Ross back up into 4th position. Lazarus making a mistake, and this will just push Andrews and Mühlmann into this fight. We could have a 4-car battle for the final spot off the podium in P4, so this is a very, very exciting battle that we have shaping up. We're into the latter portion of this race, so everyone has found their rhythm, and now it's just about getting towards the end and setting yourself up for the last few laps. We'll be in a little bit of a lull period, I'd imagine, but knowing these guys, it's still going to be incredibly exciting right through to the end.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, lull period definitely in terms of the overall race. It's been non-stop action, but I mean, this circuit, of course, it is fabled for its speed, as I mentioned earlier. You've got the slipstream effect and the toe in play. I mean, Lazarus is already right up to the rear bumper of Rossi, you just saw in the background. This is riding on board with Van Thielen in second. Votter has been slowly closing him in. Of course, that battle is going to be quite important for the championship as well. As that's Lucas Romano getting it wrong out the final corner. Doesn't look like he's been collected by anyone, which is good news for himself and the others around, but he's just going to be dropping down the order. What is going on there?
It doesn't look like he's got any damage. I think his tyres are a bit dirty and he's trying to get back on the power, and then he's just dropped up when he's trying to accelerate. But now he's able to keep on going. Here is Corey Lazarus back on the attack in towards the hairpin corner. Jeffrey Ross will try and over and under, not quite able to find it. Now Luke Andrews is well and truly in this fight. Van der Klein and Hemming further back behind are scrapping it out, and here comes Jeffrey Ross in the wheel tracks of Corey Lazarus in towards turn number 8, where Lazarus has had his fair share of incidences so far this evening. Kept it clean for now, but this is a great battle shaping up. Ross trying to squeeze a move through here. Luke Andrews finding his way into the battle. What has happened to Corey Lazarus here? He's slowed completely up.
What has happened there? Lazarus is, yeah, you say, he just slowed right down. I wonder if he's had a penalty of some descript potentially. Either way, Andrews through, Ross through, Mühlmann, Clays is through. He's dropping further and further down the order. He's getting past left, right and centre.
He's stuck in
second.
second.
What has gone on? He's only stuck in second.
He's stuck in second gear. Is this like a hardware failure? Is he not able to shift at all? I mean, I think this might be game over for Corey Lazarus. He's got to throw this one into the bin. I'm sure that there's no such thing as your car just failing on you in iRacing, so this must be a hardware problem. That's the only thing I can think of. He's just, you can see him, he's right on the rev limiter.
This is so odd. I've never seen anything like this in iRacing. Never. Like you say, it must be hardware. There's no way the simulator would throw this at someone.
Yeah,
this
no,
is so bizarre.
They wouldn't just give out random failures, because that would be completely unfair. This is unprecedented what has happened to Corey Lazarus. Meanwhile, now that his position's been vacated, they're still scrapping it out for P4. Luke Andrews has managed to get through, and I think Mühlmann might as well.
Yeah, it's certainly looking that way. And if these guys scrap even harder, if anything goes wrong, look who's there to pick up the pieces, Dan. And he's in a little bit of a point of his own there, is Steve Clays. He's got a bit of a gap in front and behind, which is probably nice for him, a bit of clean air running. He can just focus on his lap times. But these guys giving it everything. Andrews, Ruleman, Ross, two of them, of course, vying for that Pro-Am Championship. And Van Look, well, he's nowhere in sight at the moment, down in 13th. As that was Ross getting it a bit wide into the stadium section there. As at the moment, things seem to have just about calmed down whilst they make their way through this point of the circuit. I'm sure it will all hot up again once they get the slipstream effect back into full swing.
And the highest an amateur driver has finished, is I'll make this point in a moment, because Miles Hemming is dropping down the order. Michael Van Look is up the inside in towards the final corner and gets that position made. And what has happened to Hemming? He's lost a couple of places in the last few corners. So I wonder if there's been contact between himself and Colin or Van der Kley. I'm not quite sure. But the highest an amateur driver has finished in a main race is 14th. That was Navarro de Boer, both last time out and at Nordschleifer in round number 3. Steve Clays is in 7th, and as these guys continue to battle it out, I mean, it's a fantastic race that we are witnessing. Gordon Marshall trying to find the move on the BMC Motorsports car, and I think he'll finally be able to get this one done, almost making some contact between the pair of them. But we really are seeing an incredibly shaken up grid.
Yeah, we certainly are. It's brilliant to see. This is just the kind of racing that Hockenheim can throw at you. I mean, I think, Midi in the chat has said it best. Why is the F1 cars not racing around this circuit? Because it really is fantastic, I mean, especially when you go back through the likes of the sort of older days, as that is Hemming. He's just trying to find a spot and he just can't. They've just got two cars blocking his view, left and right. He just can't find a way through as they make their way on into the stadium part of this circuit. Van der Kley going deep, and that gives Hemming the chance to get through. But, you know, when you think back to sort of like, you know, Massa and Alonso at Ferrari, things like that, Dan, you know, classic moments in motorsport history, and a lot of it occurs at this circuit.
Yeah, and I mean, even the most recent races that F1 came here, you know, you had Sebastian Vettel possibly throwing the 2018 title away down at Sack Curve. I sense I can tell who your favourite driver is. That entire 2019 race, I mean, it was incredible. And this is such a brilliant circuit, and I don't know why it's not on the calendar. And there's so many circuits like this one, which, you know, Formula One has previously raced at, and they just don't do it anymore. They go to places like Las Vegas. But when, you know, F1's loss is Porsche Cup's gain, it seems, because, I mean, this is really some fantastic racing.
It certainly is. It's not even over yet. I mean, we've still got 4 or 5 laps left of this race. Luke Andrews having to drive in his mirrors once again, as Meuleman's going to try and do it the long way through the hairpin. Still no way through for Meuleman at the moment. Andrews doing everything he can to hang on to that 4th position. I think Nick in the chat is saying Lazarus is stuck in gear. So I think that's going to be a harbour issue, like you said, as that's going to be the move for Meuleman. He's going to get alongside, or at least try to get alongside, that purple Hemming car. And Luke Andrews, once again, just doing what he needs to do, Dan.
Yeah, it's brilliant stuff from Luke Andrews, and he's really taken this Pro-Am Championship by the horns. Michael Van Look, his title rival, is all the way down in 11th position. And speaking of taking things by the horns, and there is Corey Lazarus, by the way, down the main straight in front of Hadi Noah Mamasi, getting lapped. Unfortunate that Corey Lazarus is still going. It takes some mental strength to keep on going when you're stuck in second gear. But yeah, Hadi Noah Mamasi, 4.8 seconds clear of Jentel Van Tuylen and Felix Votter in this race. And yeah, there is Corey Lazarus, and you got to commend him. This has been, through no fault of his own really, a disastrous day.
It really hasn't been his day, has it? Bless him. But like you say, still plugging along, going at it. We're saying that it is issues with the hardware maybe, and the chat as well, so do keep those comments coming. And of course, Willems has also said that sometimes the G25 decided to stop working with the flippers. I don't know who's still driving on that relic, but I mean, me with my G29, I can't really say all that much, Dan.
I can't talk on that. I got a Fanatec CSL DD. It's a nice wheel, but it's unused at the minute. And I mean, coming into races, you know, commentating the Porsche Cup, I mean, this is so exciting, and I get paid next week, so I think I might be getting back in the simulator and possibly driving these cars, because what a treat that we are witnessing here today. Luke Andrews, Yannick Mühlmann, and Jeffrey Ross. You got to say, just in terms of a driving perspective, they are the stars of the show from this race, because this has been, especially Andrews and Mühlmann, these guys have been locked at the horns for so long in this race, a good 10 laps at this point, and they're still battling it out. So yeah, watching this makes me want to get the duster out and get back racing.
Yeah, I completely agree. I won't lie, I did pick up the Porsche Cup car. It's great fun, I can tell you that for sure. The other dynamic duo also looking to lock horns very soon. That's going to be Van Tielen and Votter, second and third. There's absolutely nothing separating these guys, and once again, they are going at it. Who can blame them though? Because I think all season long, these guys have been, well, they've been pretty much joined at the hip, haven't they? Sort of bumper to bumper, every race, lap after lap, and well, it just goes to show Hockenheim no exception from that, as this could be potentially a move then for Felix Votter. Van Tielen definitely going to take the defensive line into the hairpin. That is the smarter play of your two options. He's going to make Votter do it the long way, and Votter going deep, so he's going to have to regroup, catch that little gap back up again, and have another go.
Bit of a lock-up for Felix Votter there. I think he made a pretty big error here as the scrap for 7th position. Christoph Herbeno, who has a slowdown penalty, has just got through on Steve Clays, and they're all sort of tumbling over each other. There's 7 cars in this fight. Herbeno has got a drive-through penalty, as does Matthew Collin. Steve Clays is now having to defend from Matthew and almost into the back of Christoph Herbeno. He got it wrong. He's kept it on circuit and is now being hounded by his Eagle Speed teammate in Gordon Marshall. But again, they're just tumbling over each other through the final few corners.
I'll tell you what, if Marshall can do anything for his teammate is be a rear gunner at this point. If he can make sure that he doesn't go for the move, but no, he's going to go for it side by side on his teammate. Never mind what I was talking about. This is fantastic. Can Steve Clays fight back? I bet he can. Down the inside through the final corners. Look at that. Side by side for Eagle Speed Academy. Get your cameras out for a brilliant photograph. Over the line they go. It's a shame it's not the final lap for him. I think Marshall just about edged it out. Yes, he has. Here comes Van Look, going to try and get the pass on the Steve Clays now as well.
And just for good measure, Gordon Marshall's got a slowdown penalty now. Wow, I mean, he really is risking everything. He's essentially almost taken out his boss. And off the exit, there it is. He's going to serve his slowdown and give Steve Clays the position back. Now Maiko Van Look is getting involved in this battle, and in fact, Maiko is going to go for the move on Marshall and possibly look to the outside line of Steve Clays. Miles Hemming is in this battle as well after his massive shunt earlier, and oh dear me, Gordon Marshall goes into the rear right panel of Maiko Van Look. That is the second time they've made contact today. Hemming's got some damage, I believe. A drive-through penalty, in fact. I mean, Miles Hemming, that's the second time he's had some contact in this race as well. I mean, these guys, wow. Unfortunate day at the office.
Yeah, well, guess who came out unscathed for all of that? That is Steve Clays. He's still in that position, and the two drivers in front of him have got that penalty to serve. So let's keep an eye on that one to see how that goes. These guys going at it though once again. Dan Andrews and Mühlmann side by side through the stadium, and Ross there ready to pick it all up should it go wrong. Mühlmann having the advantage through the final few corners and does about just slip ahead of that purple Hemming car, but Andrews not going to give it up. They're side by side as they cross the line to start the final lap. My word, Andrews through once again.
Oh, can you believe this battle? Jeffrey Ross is now looking to get involved, headed in towards turn number 2. They're going to remain as they are, but to take to the Parabolica for the final time, this is where it is going to get a very exciting. Luke Andrews leading this 3-car pack for 4th position from Yannick Mühlmann. Jeffrey Ross involved in this as well. Headed down the Parabolica for the final time. We're cutting back to the battle for 2nd position. It's Van Tielen and Votter still scrapping it out.
Yeah, they certainly are indeed. Andrews is going to go defensive on their turn through the hairpin corner. Moonman going to have to take the wider line. Can he get the power down on exit? That is the question. I think Ross got the better of all of them there, as this is back to P2 once again. Van Thielen, Votter. I think Samuli can't figure out which battle to look at here, because it's all happening all at once. Van Thielen still holds it as they make their way into the stadium.
How are they doing this? I mean, Jentel Van Thielen, I think, has finally got this move solidified, but don't count out a move from Felix Votteren towards the Sats curb. He certainly thought about it, but he couldn't quite find it there. I think Van Thielen might be able to breathe a sigh of relief, as here is Hadi Noah Mamasi.
The inevitable man crossing the line to take the win then in the main race. Fantastic stuff from him there, start to finish. Didn't look back, picks up the fastest lap at the end there as well. Van Thielen's going to be second over Votter. Who's winning this battle here? That's Ross through the final corner. He's going to stick it down the inside of Moolman. Cheeky move there from Ross, but he picks it up. He does it. He steals it right under his nose at the end. Herbino crosses the line, and with that penalty, Steve Clays is going to get promoted to 7th position. What a drive from the amateur driver.
Take a bow, Steve Clays. That is a race and a half. The winner in the amateur category, and that is by far the best result that the red guys have ever seen in this season. Incredible stuff from everyone really in this race. That was exciting, and a little bit of kudos to this man as well, Corey Lazarus. He's still in second. I have no idea. None of us have any idea what has happened. His wheels just decided to have a day off, but he's stayed in it. And you know what? 19th position. How many points is that? Let me just have a little look. 19th is 7 points. You might as well pick them up.
Oh, absolutely. You're not going to say no to a few cheeky points, even when you've got a broken bit of rig, shall we say, because I'd imagine that's what's done it. But fair play to Corey Lazarus. But Hadi Noah Mamasi, you can take your hat off once again, and welcome back to the winner's circle for the main event. Van Thielen successfully holds off Votter there in the closing stages for those final podium spots. And Luke Andrews, Jeffrey Ross and Yannick Moolman, my word, you guys can also take a fantastic bow, because you kept us on the edge of our seat from start to finish. Steve Clays, I will love to have a chat with you in a moment. I really want to hear the excitement in your voice with that finish. Brilliant points all for yourself. Gordon Marshall, Bas van der Klei, Maiko Van Look going to round out your top 10 there. Angelo Laverse, Nevin Charney with 12th and Debova 13th. So the AMs picking up some good points here this evening, Dan. We then have Lucas Romano, Jelle Verstraeten, Christopher Herbigny, Miles Hemming and Matthew Collin. And to round out the finishers, Corey Lazarus, well done for bringing it home across the line. Oliver, Farrier and Labe, unfortunately, all DNF'd. But Dan, I mean, where do we start with that? I mean, so much happened. It's hard to really pinpoint something, because you just want to pinpoint the race, the whole thing.
How do you pick one moment and one encounter to even talk about? I mean, it was incredible, really, from start to finish. There was battles throughout the field, particularly in that top 10. We had the battle for second, the battle for fourth, and then the battle for about 7th position between 7 cars. I mean, it was spectacular to see, but the one spot that we didn't see any battling for was the race lead, and Hadi Noah Mamasi, I can see, is already in our waiting room. So I wonder, actually, if let's just bring him in.
Yeah, why not? Well, why don't you take it away, Dan?
Hadi Noah Mamasi, welcome back in to the interview room. Let's start off by talking about your qualifying. You got it wrong off the exit of the first lap and then spun it, and that ruined your qualifying. You started in 18th position. What was the strategy coming into the sprint?
The strategy was to make sure I was in the top 8, really, just so I can get the be in the reverse grid section. Because obviously, if you're not in the top 8, then you're not going to. It's quite hard to come through from P9. So I was just trying to get the top 8.
Absolutely, and you actually hit it on the head with that 8th position. You were running in about 4th or 5th or so, and then we saw you slowing up. We suspected it could have been fuel, but I wonder, was that intentional from you?
No, I was actually running out of fuel. Throwbacks to Red Bull Ring as well. So, yeah,
Okay,
it was not ideal, but yeah, actually, if anything, it helped me. So I'm not complaining about that.
Oh, it worked out perfectly for yourself, and you ended up starting in second, so I think there was a little bit of a glitch because you did finish in 8th place. But regardless, coming into the race, everyone was tumbling over themselves through the first and second lap, and you were able to stretch at your advantage. And it was a very lonely race for you. How were you feeling driving that, knowing everyone else was scrapping it out and really just making a mess of things behind?
Well, I was just trying to be like as consistent as possible, because obviously doing one good lap in 20 laps is not good. You need to be doing consistently, and I was just making sure I was doing consistent laps, not making too many mistakes, and yeah, it worked out.
And after a difficult road Atlanta, you reclaim your spots as a race winner here at the Hockenheim ring. How does it feel to be back there? And I believe actually you've lost a few points to your closest rivals. So the gap between yourself coming into the last race at Spa between you and Jentel van Tuylen is just 10 points. Is there pressure that you're going to lose the title?
Nah, not really. I think Spa is one of my best tracks, and I really like it. So I think Spa, should be fine. Hopefully.
That is great to hear. That is all from me. Ashley, anything you want to say to our race winner?
I mean, congratulations once again. Glad to have you
you.
back. It's a shame what happened last week, but I mean, on top form as always, Hadi Noah. So fair play to you, and love the confidence. Let's take that to Spa.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Brilliant. Cheers for joining us, Mamasi, and we'll.
Yeah, no problem.
See
ya.
I'm sure we'll have a chat soon.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Well done. That was some confidence there from Hadi
yeah.
Noah.
No
Yeah,
pressure.
real. That's some big talk. Let's see what Van Tuylen and Votter can muster up when we do get to Spa in a few weeks' time. I can also see though, Steve Clays is waiting for us in the chat. Now I cannot wait for this one because I'm very excited to hear how Steve thinks that went. Steve, welcome into the commentary lounge here. I mean, what a result. I think you've over doubled your points from the entire season in one afternoon. How does that feel for yourself?
Good evening, guys. Well, it feels sweaty. So I didn't think it would go that way. No, I didn't practice at all. Even in the free practice before the event today, I had little time. So I was like, okay, let's start from the back. Let's see how it goes. And the qualify was very good. I was like, oh, okay. And then, yeah, I just wanted to keep the head cool, get my points, don't do stupid stuff, don't get involved in battles which aren't mine. But position is extra points, of course. So, but sometimes it's hard to not to fight,
Yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from. But I mean, as it stands, you finished 7th in the main race. I believe it was 11th for the sprint as well. The points haul that you've received provisionally here, looking at the standings, is 37 for this evening. You're now sitting at the top. You're currently at the top of the standings for the amateur category. It's got to feel good. And what does that do going into Spa next time?
Well, that was the main goal. I just wanted to take back what I lost at Road Atlanta. But I wanted to win, but not in that manner. That was something I did not hope. But yeah, it feels good. I'm where I wanted to be for the last round. But yeah, it still has to be driven.
Certainly does. Looking at Spa, it's your home circuit. I mean, how good are you around there normally on your average day, shall we say?
I'm quite good, but the others are also good. So you can be very good. I'm now 7th in the main race, but one hit and you're off the track and everything is gone. So speed is not always the main factor. You just have to stay out of trouble. The last race, in the main race, I got involved in little hiccups with Christophe. He pushed me wide in the hairpin and I got 4x, and then Gordon Marshall behind me had the little taps with Maiko and stuff, and I got a 4x, and it was like 2 laps to go. I got 15x. I was like, oh wait, I have to be careful. Don't throw this away with the 2 off tracks. And then I saw that Mathieu went in, and suddenly Christophe went to the back. So I'm sure he had also a penalty, but he continued, and because I was 8 on the track, but it was nervous wracking. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from. Not knowing is always in the back of your mind. But I tell you what, Steve, fantastic result for you here this evening. Very well done indeed. And I'm going to say good luck for Spa next time. But is there anyone you want to give a big shout out or a thanks to before we let you go?
Oh yeah, I want to thank one person specific, and that's my coach, Bernardo. He's coaching me for a few weeks now. And sometimes there are little things, details that you do not pay attention to. And I've grown as a racer. I pay much more attention to the driving itself, being conscious of the driving. So big thanks to him.
Brilliant stuff. Well, looks like it's been paying off, Steve, and thanks for joining us here.
Okay, thank you guys. See you in 2 weeks.
See you in a couple of weeks. Well. Steve Clays there with the, I think, probably the best amateur result for anybody in that entire field there. Brilliant stuff from him this evening, Dan. I mean, I think we've only got a few short moments here before we call it quits for this evening. Real shame, but we will be back in a few weeks' time for Spa. Any final thoughts from yourself?
Well, I mean, we're headed into the final race of the season. It's the home circuit of many of our drivers on the grid. Primarily a Belgian championship, this is, it seems. And the titles are undecided throughout the field. The gap in the pros is just 10 points between Hadi Noah Messi and Jentel van Tielen. It is 14 points between Luke Andrews and Yannick Muhleman at the top of the Pro-Ams. And it is just 5 points between Steve Clays and Navarro de Bourba. Jeleva Stratton is 7 points back. Nevin Charney's back by 12. I mean, we have got 3 open-ended championships left to be decided, which could go any which way next time out in Spa. And I think it's going to be a worldie of a Season 3 finale.
It certainly is looking that way. I mean, couldn't ask for anything more. I think my final thought here, Dan, I've just seen it in the chat, is MetaMarket has said someone should bribe Farrier to stop coaching. I think that might be in reference to Steve's phenomenal finish once again. But that's my final thought for this evening. No, in all seriousness, look forward to Spa in a few weeks' time. As you said, Dan, we've got a lot of championships still look to be wrapped up because it is open-ended, as you say, so it's going to really be exciting stuff. Maybe I can get confirmation with Samuli. Have we got one last interview in us here, Samuli? Have we got time for that? Not too sure. Maybe we can have a quick chat with Luke Andrews anyway. Let's bring him in then. Luke Andrews, well done. I mean, you got your Pro-Am win there in the main race. How are you feeling after that one, especially with all that pressure? Well, throughout the majority of it.
Oh man, I'm spent after that one, to be honest. that was very intense, but like such a fun race. Yeah, really good racing with Yannick there, like super respectful, but really hard racing. It was very good fun, and with Jeffrey as well there.
Yeah, it was really, really good. I mean, I'm trying to think where you actually started in that race itself. I believe here you gained 7 throughout the entire of that main race. So a real big climb there for yourself. I mean, were you expecting sort of 4th position at the start of that? Because I think it was a very up and down race for a lot of drivers. But I mean, great points for yourself in your championship fight.
Yeah, I mean, well, I didn't help myself tonight. I kind of bottled qualifying, and then I actually put feature race fuel in for the sprint, and I was wondering why I was slower on the straights, and I figured it out afterwards. So that was a bit of a mistake for me, but I managed to luckily recover a bit in the feature, and it just opened up for me at the start really, and all of a sudden I could see Yannick in front of me, and I was like, oh, that's gone well. And then it was just a case of I couldn't drop him. Like when I got past him, he was quick enough to stay with me, and obviously when you lose the toe, you kind of, the guys behind are going to keep coming at you, and that's what happened for the rest of the race. But luckily I was able to hold him off just about.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly looked tense from us here in the commentary booth. I can only imagine what it felt like in the car. But well held, a brilliant result for yourself at the end of the day, and you've still got a little 14-point buffer going into Spa next time out. How are you feeling for that one?
Yeah, I like Spa, like most people, I guess. But you know, it's a bit of a buffer. It's nice to have a bit of a, a buffer. But Maiko and Yannick are both super quick, and anything can happen. So I'm not counting my chickens by any means. I'm going to go into it thinking that I still need to try and do a good job. And obviously you've got to stay out of trouble as well. And Spa is somewhere where you can have big accidents. So fingers crossed we keep the wheels on it.
Absolutely. Is it a track you like, Spa, or is it one of your sort of more, let's say, average? I say average. That's not the word, but you know what I mean. It's sort of. Is it one of your favourite tracks, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I'd say it probably is, yeah. But I'd imagine it's like that for a lot of drivers. Yeah. So, you kind of imagine that most guys are going to be strong at Spa. So I think it will be a proper fight to the finish. So I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully I can do what I need to do.
Absolutely. Well, that's all from me, Luke. Dan, have you got any questions you'd like to ask Luke here?
No questions from yourself, Luke. I'm wondering what your estimated heart rate was at the peak of your battling. I mean, I can imagine it was way over what it should be. But really well done. It was incredible from start to finish. I'd say yourself and Yannick and Jeffrey were the stars of the show today. We got some great battling from you guys, so well done.
Yeah, definitely props to those guys as well. Like, they drove a great race, and Jeffrey got unlucky there where Corey had like a random issue as we were coming out the corner all together, and then I got lucky. I went to the outside and Jeffrey went the other way, and he got held up by Corey, and that kind of let me through. But these things happen. He was a bit unlucky there, but yeah, those guys drove great races as well. So props to them for sure.
Lovely. Anyone you want to give a quick shout out to, Luke?
Just shout out to anyone who I knew that was watching, and teammate Miles Hemming. We've been working together really well this season, which has been cool. So he's unfortunately not going to be in the last round to help me out, but he's gone on holiday. Very selfish of him, but and just props to Nick as well for putting the series on, and to you guys too. Like, it's a pleasure to watch the streams back, and the racing's been really, really good. Like, this is by far my favourite Porsche Cup Championship that I race in. So yeah, thanks to everybody that makes it happen.
Brilliant. Lovely to hear, Luke. Well, good luck for Spa next time out, and well done on the result this evening.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Lovely. Well, Luke Andrews there, everybody, your Pro-Am winner in the main event. And, we have now come to the end, Dan, so maybe I'll give you one more chance. Is there anything else you want to add before we do close off for this evening?
I don't think there's anything more I can really add aside from just what a championship and what a season of Porsche Cup that we've had, and here's to another fantastic race at Spa.
Here. Well, that is going to be everything then here on Apex Racing TV. I hope everybody has a fantastic evening. Thank you ever so much for watching. We'll see you in a few weeks' time, 6th of December, the finale of the Porsche Cup here by Eagle Speed Academy. Don't miss it. You're going to want to be around for it. Thank you very much. Goodbye.